As soon as it says recording. Recording. Good evening. This is the regular August meeting for the Utilities Commission of the Town of New Canaan. Call the meeting to order at, I've got 7 o'clock. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
Pablo, our secretary, will call the roll.
Perfect. Here on Conto, Zoom.
I'm here.
And we can hear you too.
Okay, great.
Mike Collins,
Yes. Here.
Sven, and Pavla. Donica is not here. Okay.
Right.
So we have.
Well, we have 5, so we have a quorum, so
Beautiful.
we'll get going. The first one is approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 12, 2025 and May 2025. I guess I'll ask, I think we've all received them.
I sent them today, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and we've had a chance to look at them. Does anybody have any additions, corrections, or deletions? None appearing. I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes of both the June 12 and May 2025 meetings.
I motion.
The motion is made by Mr. Collins. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
By Mr. Clark. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous.
Got it.
Okay. Public comments? I don't see anyone in Zoom.
They're both muted and. But I can let you guys.
Yeah.
Well, if they can hear me, if you're on Zoom and you wish to make a public comment, now would be the time to unmute. None appearing. We will proceed to item 4, Ookla data coverage map development, and that's Pablo 11.
Perfect. Am I on? Okay.
You are on.
Okay, so I'll start with just sort of general information for Mike, because I think you kind of missed all the exciting stuff.
I missed.
Yes. Well, and we also did a follow-up on the session after during our regular session. So, so what we have now is we took the Ookla data that the town got from them with the signal for 4 major providers. Well, it's technically 3 major providers, and 4th is the emergency, the FirstNet. And we were able to, I wrote a web app that allows you to, drop down, I would like, let's say AT&T, voice data, a voice or data. And what it does, it generates a map with the colors indicating the strength of signal, quality of signal, with black indicating blackouts. So it gives you a very visual representation of what things look like for each of the providers with respect to voice or data. It also allows you to enter addresses in town and drop pins. So you could actually see, let's say, if you travel a lot between, let's say, east of town and, west of town, you can see the route. And let's say you're planning to make a, Zoom call or something like that. It'll, you would check the data and say, oh, you know what, it's probably going to drop me. So I might want to reschedule or something like that. So it allows people to maybe plan or do something. Usually the calls are better. Data is a little worse. So if you're making phone calls, you probably could have a work call, but Zoom is a little more sparse. And it also shows you the area around. What I did is I plotted the, for the purpose of the commission, I plotted the location of the towers that I was able to find. I didn't find all of them, but I found most of them. And so it gives you a very good representation. There's a tower and there's like a green area around it fading into yellow, orange, and red, and eventually black. So it gives you a nice visual. So to make this public, we haven't made this public. This is just available to us. I mean, I can show it and things like that. The idea, I guess, first is to make it available to public, and I could start working with our IT department to figure out how we can put this on the town website, so that if somebody's actually shopping for a phone, and they could say, hey, you know what, which service should I get, considering like my location in town and my routes, I should get AT&T or Verizon or T-Mobile or whatever. But the sort of longer view for the commission, we actually had a really interesting discussion last time. What I didn't realize is that our emergency services are not covered. So it really gives you a very good representation of where we have complete black spots on the map. And the idea would be, what I'm suggesting, so I've done a little bit of research. So this is new stuff. This we haven't covered. Now I'm venturing into. So there are solutions that could be put on the individual trucks for around $500 a month per truck, which would give.
Well, I would say vehicles, because we would
Vehicle.
include the paramedic flight car.
Yeah,
For sure.
Any vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So individual vehicle, we could equip for about $500 a month with Signal. And obviously it's going to blow people's minds if we go like, oh, let's just do the entire fleet of whatever we got.
Yeah, that
That's
ain't
probably,
happening.
that's not going to happen. So what we were discussing last time is maybe we could start with EMS, because they probably get the most traffic, unless I'm mistaken. What do you think?
First responders of the police, no matter what it is for a medical. or
For anything.
Fire, pretty much, well, I mean, they're alerted and they're the fastest to the scene.
Okay, so my anecdotal conversations with the chiefs of the police department, with the, getting some anecdotal evidence from patrolwomen. Anyway, officers, is that their major need is for something that isn't on the 800 band, right? Which is a non-encoded channel. So it's an open channel. And like I've always said, anybody with a Bearcat scanner, can listen to what it is. There is information, that they try and use a cell phone for when they can. And, talk to headquarters, about personal information. That's one thing. Talking to my buddies at New Canaan EMS, the answer there is probably more of a life safety issue than the PD. I would rate it, sorry, PD, I would rate this slightly higher priority at EMS. What they're trying to do is get data files, EKG information, things like that, back to the emergency rooms, so that the emergency room doctors, personnel are aware of, what the situation is, and they don't have to stand there and look at a strip.
Right.
Okay, so they can get that information, and be prepped, as soon as they wheel the gurney through the door.
I agree.
So,
Yep. That was.
for fire service, a lot of that has to do with, accessing information with respect to, what I want to say, hazardous materials, reference information on buildings and such. Some of that is presently stored on the mobile data terminals already on the trucks. Okay, so I think, what would be a reasonable thing for us to recommend, on that basis, would be to talk with our friends on the officers of the New Canaan EMS and the EMS commissioners,
Okay,
and sit there and say like, this is what we're looking at. Have you seen the same thing? And, is there any way that we can assist you, with respect to this public safety priority?
hmm
Hmm,
and I feel like
I could easily open those conversations up for us.
that would be great.
All right, I will.
Okay, so I'm gonna put, Sven's, I guess, schedule, right?
I'll contact the commission and the officers.
Okay. And, okay, and then once we start talking to them, we can figure out like how many vehicles they have and all that stuff. The reason I also went EMS, and we discussed it last time, is because there's really nothing as serious as HIPAA.
No, ma'am.
So that's the one we really have to like
Yeah.
go by. Like, I don't think police or firemen are handling anything quite as sensitive.
Maybe not on quite a,
Most of them know, but the police need to communicate privately.
yeah.
Many of times due
They
to
do?
lots of different issues.
Mhm.
Taken to it, let's not even go into the account, but a few major incidents.
If you have a domestic, you don't want to put it out.
You can't have that on
So
radio.
they can't talk on their police
If their
radio.
cell phone doesn't work, they can't do it on the radio.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Interesting. So they have their own kind of a situation.
Yeah. So I can, we can talk to.
Because we don't have to say, okay, we're gonna, we have to finish the entire EMS before we start on police.
So
We
this
could
is
get-
$500 a vehicle. Can we buy in bulk and save?
Maybe, well, I'm gonna look into it, because that basically was like a per vehicle thing, but obviously we can talk, like, if we get a bulk, I can negotiate whatever. I mean, this was just the very first blush. I just kind of was looking like, can we even start that discussion? Do you think there'll be appetite?
Only one way to find out.
Right, exactly.
Here's the first thing that I've discovered. So on July 23rd, T-Mobile has teamed up with Starlink satellites for the cellular connectivity of it. So at this point in time, you're able to send and receive text messages, 911, and your location you can share. And that's available for customers on plans for $10 a month, eventually rising to $15. Compatible
text
with
only?
many smartphones. Pardon?
Text only.
Okay, so it says here, text 911, share your location currently
Right.
at $10 alone, standalone, okay?
This
That's
text,
currently iPhone 13s or newer and most Android phones. The other part is that future plans, they're working, which means they already can and they're testing, working on adding voice calling and data support, as well as expanding service to support app-based data for specific apps.
Yeah.
So if
So
you
one of the things I talked about with respect to the text only, because, we came into this, and discussed, can I text, 911? Well, the answer is when you text 911 to Starlink, it goes to a dispatch center, right? It doesn't go to New Canaan Dispatch. Okay, so I was talking with Chief DeFederico, and he said there is not 911 text capability in the state of Connecticut. And that is something that we need to, move forward through state government.
Right. Well, I'm
So-
just bringing this up
Yeah.
because it's brand new, number one. Number two, if you can send your location, they could probably locate you in. So this is probably already in beta test mode
Mhm.
already with having that capability and then automatically announcing they're going to be able to use data and other things. So it's something to keep in mind that the technology is developing and AI is developing so rapidly in those spaces and dealing with a lot of those spaces right now for power, that we had talked about this way back when we started the cell phone tower issue to say technology may surpass our need for
For towers,
towers.
absolutely.
And so
It's
now this is a perfect example of where this technology may do it. Now, will it be ready tomorrow or not? But we need to look into it and ask.
Right.
And I know, knowing who runs Starlink, that health, safety, and emergency is a first priority for that,
Mhm.
the individual of that company. And therefore, I'm sure that would be something we need to look into and call them to say, are you doing this for emergency services? Are you doing this for what? What is your plan? What is going on with that? That is the next step I think we should talk about rather than the 500, in my opinion only, because if that's going to come out,
Right. Well, it's actually worth investigating if you can text like data file or something like that, because if you can just kind of text individual like, hey, what's up? Like, that's not going to help them. So
yeah,
it's more like, can they send a data file using text or something like that? But again, I can investigate that. Absolutely. And it's a great,
Yeah.
it's a great thing to look into, and it's.
and they said
Yeah.
adding voice calling and data support, as well as expanding service support to app-based data and specific applications, which I'm
Right.
sure will include the ones, assuming it's going to include the important ones for health, safety, and emergency situations.
Mhm.
So it's something to look at.
Absolutely,
I-
100%.
Obviously, July 23rd, it was rolled out, so
Right, right.
weeks ago.
I'll go back through I'll go back through
So
Rich's.
my
files.
expectation is that within 10 years, towers are going to be phased out. So there's really no, so they're not going to be phased out tomorrow, but within 10 years, they'll be gone.
Right.
So there's no point in investing in infrastructure that's going to fizzle out in 10 years. That's a very short horizon.
Right.
So,
Let
yeah.
me just hold your thought on emergency services for a second and
Sure.
satellites. Let's back up. Where are we going with your maps?
So with the maps, if
I mean,
everybody.
all your drop downs and all your filters and.
Right, if everybody is happy with it, then I have to go into kind of two directions, getting professional license to speed up, because remember, guys, it was like super
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
slow. So I need to speed that up, so I'll submit the, how much that's gonna cost, like to get this, like a professional thing. It's simultaneously, I have to start talking to Chris and Sal and those guys
Yeah,
downstairs
exactly.
to to figure out how to put that stuff on the web. So that's it. Those are two. Everybody's happy. No, yes,
Go forth.
go forth. That's it.
Go forth and conquer.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, people will always, comment, oh, well, the information is, like last June, and it's like,
Mhm.
and,
It hasn't changed since last June.
I know. And my feeling always is, the ratio of something to nothing is infinite. So let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, okay, so we're set on that. So Pablo is going to move this forward with the software upgrade. Is that correct?
Well, I'm gonna find out how much it's gonna,
Yeah,
pay for the
I understand.
licenses. Yeah.
Okay. And NCIT. Okay,
Mhm. Yep.
okay. Emergency services, we're back. We're in discussion again. Okay, so Mike, is this something you want to grab hold of, and contact T-Mobile and find out more detail for me?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm writing your name.
I'll also put it down and put down Starlink, and I'll put down some of the other data center folks as well.
Mhm.
The way power is going in this world, I'm kind of in that circle right now.
Yeah,
So,
so I guess the thing is, capabilities, rollout timeframes.
exactly. Can it cover the emergency EKGs? Can it cover all of that,
If
any of that information that
If
has
not,
to
Yeah.
if not, are we looking at, 1 year, 18 months, 2 years,
Correct.
because that would be important for planning. I mean, maybe we sit there and say like, okay, we can do 2 cars and 2 fly vehicles, and sit there and say, that's okay, because we're only gonna do it for a
8
year.
months or a
8
year,
months or
yeah.
something
You
like
know,
that.
and
Right.
then, and then that budget item goes away.
Right.
And, if we need to, I mean, we can sit there, and, talk with the town parties involved and, maybe see if, we can get, is there special appropriation money?
Mhm.
Okay,
Sounds
Depending
good.
on what
You're
you
gonna learn
find out,
about
Mike,
that, by the
will
way.
you, rather than waiting till the next meeting 2 months from now, write an email to the commission, just saying, oh, I
Well,
talked
we
to
can
Sue.
have, we can, just because we said that we were bi-monthly back in February, doesn't mean that we can't, set ourselves up, and do a meeting in September.
Yeah, but you can still just write a memo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also if
No,
it's,
that's
if it's
me.
important and we all get together on it and say, this is really important and this is game changer.
Well, we can't have a meeting on email.
No, what I'm saying
Yeah,
is,
just
I
write
can
it.
give you some updates and then we can have a meeting informing of the results once you folks
All right. And
reconfirm
anytime you
what
guys,
I found.
anytime you
Right.
folks think that, there's enough
Trust but verify.
information that we need to have,
Mhm.
that we need to have a meeting, then we can get a special meeting together,
Yeah.
Well, let's wait
in
and
a
see what he
week.
finds out.
Let's see
and
what,
decide
let's see
that
what
at a
we come
different
out
point.
to be. Yeah, what comes of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then we'll take those bites.
Well, that
I
sounds,
mean, it could be, a year and a half ago, we talked about there could be game changers we don't even know that are happening. This could be one of the things that we didn't see when we were trying to say, where do we put towers?
Right.
Relays and things of that sort. So hopefully
Mhm.
that solves that, but let me do some research. I take that on.
Oh,
And
one
I'll
last-
ask questions of people that I may not be able to give as references, but I'm going to ask them inside scoop.
Perfect.
Yeah.
One last thing, what happened to those expanders that Verizon gave us?
Rich tried it down at his house, right? And his problem still is, that in summertime with leaves and everything, he's still not line of sight to the water tower at Waveney. So he didn't see any improvement. I plugged it in at my house,
Uh-huh.
okay? I'm line of sight to the, to the tower at, to the Waveney Water Tower. And, because I have decent service, it was sort of like,
What's the difference?
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, bummer. So-
sorry.
So if you already have it, you're still gonna have it. If you
Yeah,
don't,
You
you're
you
still
gotta
gonna.
be, and then Pam called me up and sat there and said Verizon wants their machine back. And so I unplugged it, put it back in the box and
Makes sense.
hauled it down here and handed it back to Pam. I think it's, if you're on the margin, it's worth, it's worth talking to your carrier, and trying it out. This was a Verizon unit. If you've got, if you're in one of the black zones, I don't think that
It's not
you
gonna
have,
change
there's
the
not
color.
enough, there's not enough signal to boost.
Right.
You can't make signal where there is none,
Makes sense.
right? And this is not a thing that goes, on the roof with any kind of antenna equipment. So there's no gain there.
Gotcha. All right, well, what was worth a
We'll
try?
Yeah, but as far as ease to install, Rich said he had his son or son-in-law, can't remember,
Son-in-law. Mhm.
put it in and for me, it was just, hooking it to the router and the power. So it's like, no big deal.
Mhm.
It was,
Well, we have other plans now. That's okay.
yeah, other options.
Yeah.
So we've sort of covered, are we?
I think that was
done with
it.
that? So we were sort of, okay, so then close under item 4, open under item 5, discussion of residential public safety wireless communication options. This was a sheet that I put together and, said, like when, when we have a weather emergency, right? And, the power lines and the communication lines are lying in the street, like, and what are your options at home? How do you, what do you do to back up? Power backup is, is pretty straightforward. We know what the options are, suffer, turn on the generator, have the
Yeah.
generator automatically turn itself on. Hope everything's good and run off of a UPS, uninterruptible power supply, which is a battery module that is normally running off your power lines in the house. When the power goes out, everything that's plugged into the UPS is now running off a 120 volt inverter off the battery. And that can get you by some things, but it doesn't have enough power to run your home. Then there's all the stuff that has to do with people who are, have a power wall or a similar option where they have large batteries and big inverters and, are able to, access that power. Then the communication stuff was, some people still have telephone lines. Some people have wired alarm systems, that they can use. Some people have wired phones where they only need to be operating the copper to fiber converters, right? Those can work, if you've still got a connection. If you don't have a connection, then it was like, can I get wireless, right? Am my, line of sight to something that I can pull in? When you push 911, it roams automatically and goes to who's ever out there. So you don't worry about that. But, if I don't have a carrier or I can't pick up a carrier, like what's next? And that's where we talked about satellite. And there were a number of satellite gizmos that are relatively low cost. There's Motorola makes one. Some people who are hikers, have Garmin's, that will do satellite and will pick up stuff. So, there's a variety of other satellite means. And then, now since a lot of phones with the proper antenna and the proper software, can now pick up a satellite, you have to be able to go outside and get into an open space so that you can get the satellite. Right?
Mhm.
So that's an important addition to the equation. So anyway, so that was put together before Danica had to step away. She was going to work with Greg Riley and try and communicate that. And I will talk to her and, and see how that moves forward. But, it was just it was a cheat sheet, and at the top it says, print this out.
Is that something we can sort of take a little look at or something?
Yeah, yeah, we can regen, yeah, it's out there.
Oh, where?
Oh, I have it, and I think it was in the minutes, several years back, but I'll send you a copy.
Okay,
Oh,
awesome.
if you can, that would be great. Several years back.
Well,
If I
I wasn't
send it
even
to
around.
one of you, I'm sending it to everybody.
Oh, there you go.
No,
automatically.
Bernie, it's a secret.
I know.
Yeah. Options, Doc, to commissioners. So that was where I was with that, and which was not, which very much dovetails, into our prior discussion here this evening. Okay. Anything more need to be said about that?
No, I mean, that's a good point with all the varying different technologies that people haven't adopted or have adopted. I mean, in dealing with storms in the past in town and with almost every road closed for that matter, it's kind of tough to say.
Or major sections of town completely cut off.
Yeah, all the town. I mean, 162 out of 165 roads or something like that. Can't remember the stat, but it's close to that. Yeah, who has access, who doesn't, and how do we reach them with?
Mhm.
We'll be there in a day or two.
And there's, and there are people, who need significant power, and will either be prepared beforehand, or will, be in difficult straits. I mean,
Well, depending
You know,
on-
if you're on the well, you know, once you run down the pressure, you know, in the tank, you know,
Right.
that's a lot of power. in order to let
Breathing
the water out.
apparatus, other apparatus, all of that
Mhm.
stuff. I mean, there's a battery backup, but,
Yeah, exactly.
so that's a good list to have. That's something to consider being in the trenches like that.
Yeah, the Office of Emergency Management and Fire Department know people who absolutely need power for lives, you know, for lives to sustain life.
That list exists, right?
Yeah, Health and Human Services,
They have that.
they have all of that list. They are the key people during some of those major events to go to say, where do we go and who do we talk to? And who do we need to find quickly and find out what the status is of where they are. So that during a storm, the emergency management folks, EOC takes care of that and they coordinate with all that for those, for
We
those.
used to run out with, when I was a young volunteer, we would run out. When the power went out up, you know, on the Valley Road area, we would run out with a generator and a gas can. There was a person in town who lived in an iron lung.
So we have all that
Yeah, that's
Covered.
we've got that pretty much covered.
Mm.
for
As-
sure.
as-
Do we run like drills and stuff like that? Because I mean, to say that we're covered, do we know we're covered?
If somebody has.
Sorry, you know, disaster
provided- I mean,
recovery.
you know, that's something that's always a good question. Absolutely a good question. You know, people who need that, you know, for life safety have usually contacted HHS,
Mhm.
FD, you know, whatever is necessary, you know, in order to make sure that we can get necessary equipment to them.
As commissioners, should we kind of push for like these regular disaster recovery events? Like usually banks have them like twice a year.
Oh, no, you
No?
don't have to worry about that.
No?
Police, fire and EMS run multiple drills a year,
Okay.
right? And multiple drills a year where they're working together.
But does HHS?
I
Yeah.
don't know whether HHS is say, operated in any of the group drills.
That
Oh, no,
would
no,
be
but I
for
mean-
Russ to coordinate. and
Yeah, I
make
think we
sure
could
that-
ask Russ to do
Russ
that.
has all that stuff and he
Mhm.
should have updates on that
Yeah.
stuff. So it's really kind of not under a utility part of it,
Yeah,
Okay.
I would
but
think
it's
that
good to
would
be aware of it.
That's what, I mean, basically, you know, that
All of
is
us.
Russ's purview. I mean, that's his
Mhm.
job.
Okay, good, okay.
We finally have somebody, you know, whose full-time job is, you know, to sit there and worry every day.
Right, who to get the emergency generator to?
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
all right, well, okay, I mean, I don't want to like second guess another commission.
Good question.
Yeah.
If you don't know, ask.
We don't, right.
If you don't know, you don't know.
Do we ask or is that
Oh,
always ask, right?
that's, yeah,
You're in there.
but you can call Russ and
You can do-
ask
yeah.
him.
What's his
Call
name? Russ?
Russ Kimes,
Fine.
Office of Emergency Management, OEM.
With a K or C? Okay, okay. Office.
He's on the town email. So if you jump on your town email and you plug in Russ, I think it'll pop up.
Management, got it. To
Okay.
wire, about to. out. Drafts.
I think so. Close under 5, open under 6. Other commissioners' items to be listed in final. Hi, Hiram. How you doing?
None you.
Doing just fine. Doing just fine.
Do you have anything to add?
No, I mean, other than, I apologize, I've had some scheduling issues the last couple of meetings, but I saw the minutes, saw the meetings, and you know, the summary that y'all have given is shows some very interesting developments. I'd like to say that I think whether we have something in September, October, I have a couple of thoughts that I just need to kind of organize to present to the commission, and maybe I'll talk to Rich and Sven about that in the coming weeks. So,
Rich
more to
is
come.
gone now. Rich
Oh,
has resigned.
oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I didn't see that. Didn't see that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's just, we have 3 openings as far as I know. So,
Okay.
yeah, happy to talk anytime, Hiram.
Okay.
Now that I'm retired, call anytime.
Understood.
Put that out there.
Yeah, it's a good thing I retired. I've been busy as heck. Pablo?
I have a question,
Sure.
and I don't know if it's within our purview, but hey, I've asked this question, I've asked our purview already so many times, I might as well. There are probably other places in town where this is a thing, but definitely on Main Road. There are these weird loopty things on that I noticed now that I'm on the commission, I'm actually paying attention. The power lines, I guess they're giving themselves a little bit of slack.
That's for the fiber.
Right?
That's a service loop for the fiber, yeah.
And they hang very low, kind of in random spots, very unsightly, probably not great for property values. And do we kind of, I don't know, inquire like if this in any way can be improved or, I don't know.
Are you talking about the spools that are tied up on the side?
Oh,
That's-
no, on the power lines themselves, like there are these massive loop-de things and they just kind of like hang in between and,
They've tied them up there. Is that what
Mhm.
you're seeing?
yes.
They've tied them up there because with fiber,
Mhm.
it's a specialty person that can attach fiber to fiber with those things.
Right.
I should have gone into that in my past life, put it that way. So they have to build that out slowly. So they hang it and they have people that can hang fiber, but then they have to be attached critically, if that's what you're talking about, because I've seen a lot of them as well.
I thought this was just slack.
So they're temporary, you're saying?
Are they, if
Some of them
they're,
are.
if they're wound up in spools,
They're like these loopy things, like,
The
so the
ones that
cable
go,
is
the ones that
stretched
go
and
around
then,
the ones that go around have got two ends where they go around a little thing that, to keep the bend radius on them. And
That's
those
not-
are hung up
that's not what
there.
I'm talking
That's not
about.
Oh,
what
no.
you're talking-
Mm.
can you
I've
take
seen
a
them.
picture for me?
I've seen them
No.
on Elm Street, right by Weed. It's a loop, it's about 1.5 feet in diameter.
Mhm.
It's probably got 7 or 8 different cords in that loop.
Right,
And it's just dangling from one of the wires on the telephone pole.
yes,
And it's between poles.
between poles,
And
yeah.
it hangs low.
I know that there's abandoned, cable, for cable service.
Mhm.
I've seen abandoned cable hanging down.
Um,
That's not this. These are spools. I
Okay,
mean, if you want to see one, drive out Elm Street towards
Elm Street and
towards
Weed Street.
In Maine,
and look on.
Like if you-
The left-hand
car?
side.
it gets
I-
really
I-
bad, there's
It
so
hangs
many of
down low
them.
enough that there's a stone wall that it was touching. I moved it over and hung it on the other side of the
I
stone
saw
wall.
that.
I know what you're
I know the one you're
talking
talking about. That one is an abandoned cable.
It's only been there less than a year.
I know, but it's not connected to anything.
Take a closer look. I don't
Okay.
know,
I'll take a look when I drive around just to see, but I've seen a lot of the work with hanging new fiber going on.
Yeah.
And with the new fiber goes the old network, and how they deal with that is one way or another. So we'll take a look and see it, because I know some of them I was
Okay.
concerned because they just have tape around them. There's a spool and it's on a rock wall.
No, this is like Bernie's saying, it's like literally in the middle of, so you got your
Between two
telephone
poles.
poles. And then you got the, wires run between them, and then all of a sudden these loops run between them and they just hang so low and it's so, like, it obscures the houses, it's very, and there's so many of them, like,
That'd be a comms wire.
That's a comms wire.
Yeah.
That's a comm wire. We'll check it out and see.
We'll find out what we need to nail.
Yeah.
There could be more than one. I mean, I don't.
Oh, there's a bunch of them throughout town. These
Throughout.
are
Some
new or
might be
they're
one
old.
thing, some
Yeah.
might be another. Who knows?
because, like, okay, granted, the above ground wiring is not the most attractive thing, but that just looks extra ugly. It's just like, why is this thing there,
All right, we'll figure out if it's useful or if it's abandoned and
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting
see if
too.
we can ask somebody a question.
Because, people have drawn my attention to it and say, hey, aren't you in the utilities commission? That stuff is ruining my house.
Okay,
It
Mike.
might be a bit of an overstatement.
Not pretty, but
And
No, but
it's not.
people are inquiring.
anything else?
That's a bad.
So, but the other thing is, I guess, we already figured out the crystal thing. So what if people can't get
Crystal Street?
access? Yeah, so.
Was it who I thought it was?
Who? No.
No, it wasn't who I thought it was.
No,
Okay.
no, it was another person that
Okay.
complained and, I sent her what I did is I sent her the Public Works Department site.
Yeah,
And there they have actually all the up-to-date, like where the closures are. It doesn't help people out of town, but at least people in town know how to get to those cul-de-sacs off of
Mhm.
South. It's not up to date, so I promised her I will reach out to
Well,
Tiger.
all the gear is, all the heavy equipment is gone, all the excavators are gone, all the pipes were picked up yesterday and gone.
That's it?
Done
The,
for the year.
they replaced the grass in several spots and, reseeded. So we're not supposed to get any rain for the next umpty 2 days, but anyway, they gave it a try. So pretty much we're done. I mean, I know that the signs were out at Bank Street today, and the police were down at the Farm Road end. But, as far as those of us who are in the neighborhood, driving up and down the road,
It's all good, right?
Yeah.
All
They're
right.
allowed to access their road on those side streets, and then I've only seen cooperation with that. And there's 3 routes to get down, either South Avenue, Main Street, or
well, this was one day when they were digging right in front of Crystal, and it was,
Yeah,
there's
she was
always
locked
a
out.
bad spot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and then she literally like got
it
home
wasn't
and
like they
nobody
could,
was letting
it
her.
wasn't like somebody said, hey, Crystal is really gonna be, closed from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Like, really?
Park your car at South and,
Yeah.
And walk. There was very little communication. The woman got home and was like, well, she didn't get home. She got close to her house, and at that point, she drove all 3 places, and all 3 cops told her no. And she was like, well, now what? And then finally one like lifted up the yellow tape and was like, all right, sneak under, but don't tell anybody. I'm like,
yeah.
she lives there. Like, this is
Yeah.
not okay.
They deal with quite a big challenges sometimes.
Any other items?
That was it.
Give
No.
them grace, give them grace.
Yeah.
No, I know. Well, no, I mean, it just like we're supposed to be listening to the community, so
Sure.
it wasn't me. It was, somebody who complained to me, and I said, I'll talk to Sven. So Sven and I spoke, and I gave her the link to
Yeah.
DPW, and so she was happy with that. And
Yeah, because they were the only people I think who know. I mean,
yeah, and there's fairly up-to-date information there. It wasn't perfect, and by the time
Yeah.
I got around to catching up with Tiger,
it was
it was
no
over.
longer a problem.
It was no longer a problem, which is great.
Yeah. Bernie?
No report.
No report. Mike, anything else?
I do not have an update for you on gas expansion. The state has halted on reimbursing and rate basing that, but I don't have a direct quote or a direct answer.
Because I think you
From
folks
that-
saw the question I got.
From Jen.
Leah.
I don't remember her last name, but
Yeah,
it's
they were on, yeah. and-
Hoyt, right?
Yeah, on Hoyt, and that was originally one of the streets that was on the list. but-
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, so when I get an update on that, I will respond.
sure.
But I don't have an update. The state took all the expansion funding away. So any of those expansions that were happening, we were lucky to get in with what we have at this point in time. Now it's an economic model at this point. So if there's 5 houses on the street that want it, it makes sense to go up, 400, 500 feet, hook up the houses. That's how that works. They call it a hurdle model or a IRR, so to speak, so that they do it over 20 years, which nobody does. So,
Mhm.
so I'll find out about that. I still owe you the answer on that, but I don't have it.
Yeah, if you could drop a line to the folks, just so that they know that we're watching out for them.
I will. I'll just say I
Yeah, so like-
expected an answer.
Here's what it is, and,
Yep.
it's a
Yep.
state thing, and, we'll let you know if
Yeah.
something comes up.
And I can also provide the number to say, can you, inside sales to say, are you doing this or doing that as well
Yeah.
to inquire?
And then for me, I did receive a new email from one of the sales managers or marketing managers at Axiom Energy. Remember, those were the folks who had the residential cogeneration systems that we looked
Yeah, from
at?
Wisconsin.
Yeah, and they have developed a new system, and they are going to show it at a convention, show, whatever. sometime this summer, this August. And when she sends me the info on the new one, I'll make sure that we pass that out and give them a blurb, during a
Sure.
meeting, to
Sure.
talk about the cogen system again. I was very impressed, again, when I went to the library and heard the folks from, Energize CT and those folks talk about, what's going on, with respect to highly efficient heat pumps and things like that. And I'm going to go to contract this month on a heat pump.
I did one
Yeah,
and I filed for my rebate from them. It's been 2.5 months.
yeah,
I'm waiting.
okay.
You're waiting for your 1,200 bucks?
1,500.
15, sorry, I
So
knew.
300, 500 a ton.
Uh-huh.
So,
Bright spots.
Yeah, so I got to talk to them about my rebate and the federal rebate sunsets this year. It was originally going to be out to 2032, but the big beautiful bill has put the kibosh on that one.
But that's $2,000.
Yeah,
So.
Against your
so,
taxes, yeah.
Yeah, that's for tax write-off.
Yeah.
So,
Form 8965, I've got mine all
I
filled out.
don't want that one.
How does it work again?
The heat pump?
Yeah.
It works like an air conditioner. The answer is that you just run the Carnot cycle backwards and it generates heat.
So your air
What's-
conditioner looks in your house and says, where's the heat? It pulls it out and puts it outside. The heat pump in the wintertime looks for heat outside. Even if it's freezing, there's still heat in that air and it pulls it inside.
What's it running on?
Electricity.
Electricity, got it. Is it efficient?
It's very efficient.
Okay.
I was looking at they had, you can go to Energize CT. You can look at their graphs and, they have it, modeled, against, oil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They've been modeled against natural gas, or propane, natural gas and propane. And, I was very impressed.
But they
My,
all have ranges. Once you get to like 20 degrees outside and you're trying to use it, it's struggling, let's say.
Then you turn on turn off the, you turn off the heat pump and run yourself off your old oil burner.
so, because like where I run into problem, because mine is sort of like that plus, because mine is a, geothermal, like we already spoke about that, right? My house runs on geothermal. So that's like a fancy heat pump.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes, that's like a,
you're 56 degrees or better all the time.
exactly. So I
So-
got, cooling and heating it all times a year, right?
We're all covered.
The problem is because it runs on electricity and with the Connecticut rates the way they are,
Yeah.
my electricity bill is ouch.
Mm-hmm.
You have
So-
pumps, you have fans, you have a lot of things running at once.
Well, it's heating or cooling the house depending on when we're talking about it, but like it's the fact that it runs on electricity and it's kind of the same idea with the heat pump, I guess, like
Yeah.
if it's really expensive, it becomes really expensive.
Yeah, it does. We agree.
Yeah.
Versus, like opening up the windows and sweating and running a fan, it's like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to come up with something else. I'll tell you as soon as I do. I'll air it here first, my idea.
There you go.
Maybe like algae or something. What?
They're looking at that.
Well, think about
Um,
it.
All right, well, I am,
Anything else?
nothing, I'm motion to adjourn.
I second.
Okay,
Uh,
so the motion was by Mr. Collins and the second was by Mr. Clark. And
750.
we are adjourned. Hiram, thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you with your smiling face in person.
I know, next time. Next time.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
good to see
call me
everyone.
anytime.
I will,
Good night.
I will. Thank you. Good night.
Stop record.